Hey guys, welcome to my channel Arteza Art Mania. This is a channel focusing on being one stop for all art lovers just like me. If you're new here, do subscribe to my channel and join my growing family of art lovers. In today's video, we'll be painting this beautiful dog using watercolors. I'm using Arteza Premium Watercolors and Cason XL 300 GSM watercolor paper for this painting. First of all, I have drawn an outline of the dog that I wanted to paint. I have applied masking fluid at certain areas in order to preserve the highlights. I am first starting with the background by applying water and using the wet on wet technique to create the sky. For watercolors, it is very important for us to work on layers. Here, I am applying my first layer to the sky using celerian blue. Paper is very crucial for watercolors and it is recommended that you use a 300 GSM watercolor paper for this. While we leave that to dry, let us work on the floor. For the floor, I wanted to give it the effect of sand. Similar to the sky, I am using the wet on wet technique to create this effect. I am using a little bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna for this. Once the first layer is completely dry, I have proceeded with my second layer, creating an effect of clouds and darkening the portions where I wanted the sky to be bright. It is very important to let the first layer dry in watercolors before proceeding with the second layer. If the first layer isn't completely dry, the second layer will just bleed into the first layer, creating a very messy look. Moving ahead with the dog, I'm first starting with the eyes. The eyes are very crucial for any living being as they give life to the painting. Here, I'm giving a base shade of light grey to the eye. I'm using a lot of water and very little black paint to achieve that color. As we leave that area to dry, let us now work on the white portion of the eye. The white portion is not really white in reality. There's a mix of slight grey and in the dog's case a little bit of pinkish shade as well. Once that the pupil area is dry, I am using black color to build the darker shadows in the eyes, and for the lighter portion I am just using a little bit more water. For such intricate works, choose your paintbrush wisely. They need to be extremely thin to get the job done. Once the second layer is dry, I am going ahead with adding more black into the darkest areas of the eyes. Next, I am going to build the base for the skin area. For this, I am using burnt sienna and a lot of water. I will also be lifting some paints where I find it to be lighter in the reference. So once this layer is dry, I am going ahead with the second layer, adding a little more depth. For this, I am using a little bit of raw umber as well. I am repeating this process until I get the desired color structure. 300 GSM watercolor paper becomes very crucial because of this. It helps in working with a lot of layers, which is essential for creating realism using watercolors. Now I am repeating the same for the other eye and skin of the dog. As you can see, I am adding darker shades to the areas around the eyes. This will create the depth effect for the eye. Moving on with the ears, I am once again creating a base coat with burnt sienna. I am leaving that area to dry while I work on the nose. Basically, the dog has a lot of white fur around the nose area. So, I am going to give a very mild wash of burnt sienna only in the areas where I find darker fur in the reference. For the nose, I am giving a mild wash of black. Then, I am building the darker areas of the nose slowly in layers. Now that the dog's skin is completely dry, I am using the wet on dry technique to create the dog's fur. For this, I am using very little water and more of burnt sienna, and I will not be pre-wetting the paper like before. Remember, we have to build layers only when the base layer is completely dry. I will be using brush strokes in the same direction as the fur in my reference. This will create a realistic effect. Also, adding a few flyaway hairs here and there will help up the realism even further. Now let's draw the white fur. Although the fur is white in color, in reality if you observe closely, it has shadows in them. Here we are going to focus only on those shadows and let the white paper do the remaining job. For the shadows, I am using a very mild wash of burnt sienna and once again using the brush strokes in the same direction of the fur. Remember to use a very thin brush to do the fur to get the fine details right. I am further building on the darker areas of the nose by applying black paints to the most dark areas and using water to the edges to create a smooth transition. I am going to repeat drawing the fur on the other side of the dog's face. For the darkest areas of the fur, I am using burnt umber mixed with a little bit of black. I'm repeating the same process on the dog's other ear. Now, I'm going to work on the dog's shadow on the floor. For the legs, I am basically building the darker shadows to create the effect. I'm completing this painting with a little bit of highlights using my Sakura white gel pen. This is the final piece of the dog painting. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed painting with me. Do share your artwork and tag me on my Instagram account. The link is provided in the description. Do share, like and comment on my videos. And if you're new here, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of my new videos. Happy creating, guys!